Yashodanandana Vrajajana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavihari Jaya Abhirari Gopiyana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gopinath Radhe Jaya Radha Krishna Chandra Radhe Jaya Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe. The Govinda Radha. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe. Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga. Jaya Prahlad Nasimha Prahlad Nasimha Prahlad Nasimha Jaya Prahlad Nasimha. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev Ananta Dev Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev Prabhupada Gurudev Prabhupada. Jam Srimad Paramsavarajigacharya Stotra Shada Srimad Divine Gaze Abhaichar Naravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gone Fundacharya, BPD Fundacharya, Savior of the whole world. Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Vrinda Gaur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। हाय गौर ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, first canto, chapter 2, text number 17, in the matter of divinity and divine service. It's a very famous verse, many of you may be familiar. Shrinmatam Swakataha Krishna Shrinmatam Swakata Krishna Shrinmatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Riddhi Antaha Sto ye abadhrani hridyantastu abadhrani hridyantastu ye abadhrani vednoti susatam vednoti susatam vednoti susatam Srimad Swagata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantastoya Badrani Vidinoti Susatam Srimad Swagata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantastoya Badrani Vidinoti Susatam Srimad Swagata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantastoya Badrani Vidinoti Susatam Srimad Swagata Krishna Vedinoti Susadam Srimad Swagata Krishna Punyasavana Kirtana Rudrani Srimad Swagata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Vidyantastaya Badrani Vedinoti Susatam. What word meaning? Shinvatam. Those who have developed the urge to hear the message of Swakataha, his own words, Krishna, the personality of Godhead, Punya, virtues, Shravana, hearing, Kirtana, chanting, Hridhi Antastaha, within one's heart, he certainly Abhadrani desire to enjoy matter. Vidunoti cleanses, Sahat benefactor, Satam of the truthful. Translation and purport by Divine Gadesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul, in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Please repeat the translation. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is Paramatma, super soul, in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Purport. Messages of the personality of God as Sri Krishna are non-different from him. Whenever, therefore, offenseless hearing and glorification of God are undertaken, it is to be understood that Lord Krishna is present there in the form of transcendental sound, which is powerful as the Lord personally. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Shishtastaka declares clearly that the holy name of the Lord has all the potencies of the Lord, and that he has endowed his innumerable names with the same potency. There is no rigid fixture of time, and anyone can chant the holy name with attention and reverence at his convenience. The Lord is so kind to us that he can be present before us personally in the form of transcendental sound. But unfortunately, we have no taste for hearing and glorifying the Lord's name and activities. We already discussed developing the taste for hearing and chanting the holy sound. It is done through the medium of service to the pure devotee of the Lord. The Lord is reciprocally respondent to his devotees. When he sees that the devotee is completely sincere in getting admittance to the transcendental service of the Lord and thus become eager to hear about him, the Lord acts from within the devotee in such a way that the devotee may easily go back to him. The Lord is more anxious to take us back into his kingdom than we can desire. Most of us do not desire at all to go back to Godhead. Only very few men want to go back to Godhead. But anyone who desires to go back to Godhead, Sri Krishna, helps in all respects. One cannot enter into the kingdom of God unless one is perfectly cleared of all sin. The material sins are products of our desire to lord it over material nature. It is very difficult to get rid of such desires. Woman and wealth are very difficult problems for the devotee making progress on the path back to Godhead. Many stalwarts in devotional line fell victim to these allurements and thus retreated from the path of liberation. But when one is helped by the Lord himself, the whole process becomes as easy as anything by the divine grace of the Lord. To become restless in contact of woman and wealth is not an astonishment, because every living being is associated with such things from remote time, practically immemorial, and it takes time to recover from the foreign nature. But if one is engaged in hearing the glories of the Lord, gradually he realizes his real position. By the grace of God, such a devotee gets sufficient strength to defend himself from the state of disturbances, and gradually all disturbing elements are eliminated from his mind. Thus in the Bhaktivedanta purport, Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Shashkarun Militam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachyatya Desatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangulangaya degri yat kripakamande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. So this verse, Shinvatha Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridiyantastaya Badhrani Vidanoti Susatam. Shri Krishna, the personality of God, who is Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So this is the first canto, second chapter. We are all familiar that first canto, first chapter, the sages of Naimisharanya were asking 6 questions actually. So the whole Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses, is answer to those 6 questions. So we all know Parikshit Maharaj first heard from Sukadeva Goswami. So Sutta Goswami was in that audience. So this Bhagavatam, you see, like the different personalities, again and again they question and answers are sought. So as this verse itself, and in this chapter is called as Divinity and Divine Service. Very beautiful chapter. Only 28 verses are there. 34 verses are there in this chapter. All are very, very important for aspiring devotees. So Krishna, so Sukadeva Goswami and here Sutta Goswami, they are establishing the position of Krishna, who Krishna is. That's why Srila Prabhupada always said, we should not rush to the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, wherein intimate pastimes of Krishna with the devotees are all there. So we should gradually go from first canto, second canto, because these are the foundation of Bhagavatam. And just like the lotus feet of the Lord, Prabhupada explained, first and second canto. Then 10th canto is the face of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. And we should get inspiration from Srila Prabhupada himself. Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he observed this Prabhupada when he first met in 1922. Later, he would have met his spiritual master maybe for a half a dozen. Prabhupada says 5-6 times only Srila Prabhupada met his spiritual master. But whenever he got an opportunity, he always used to hear from his spiritual master. That's why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur himself says, I will initiate him because he is interested in hearing the glories of the Lord. We are all in this material world, we are all conditioned soul. That's why it is said in this verse also, if we have to cleanse our desire from material enjoyment, so this material enjoyment, this material sense gratification, we have been taking so many lives according to scriptures. And these are deep rooted actually. This mental enjoyment, mental desire, we cannot easily give up. So, what is the process? So, Bhagavatam itself says here, just by hearing Krishna Katha, Shrinvata Swakatha. Shrinvata means hearing, Shranam. And Swakatha, Prabhupada explained, Swakatha refers to Bhagavad Gita, also Srimad Bhagavatam and all Vedic literature. Because Krishna directly speaking Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and Krishna spoke this millions of years before to sun god Vivaswan also. That is also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita 4th chapter, 1st verse. So Krishna directly speaking is Katha. And about Krishna, we are trying to understand about Krishna. And the whole Bhagavatam is nothing but devotees are explaining, questioning, and they are getting answer from the spiritual master, Krishna's various incarnations. So just by hearing Krishna's glories, all the dirty things within the heart will be cleansed of this material enjoyment. Shrindata swakataha Krishna punya shravana kirtana. Punya, it's very auspicious. When you hear Lord's, that's why Prabhupada begin this purport also. Messages of the personality of God as Sri Krishna are non-different from him. Whenever, therefore, offenseless hearing and glorification of God are undertaken, it is to be understood that Lord Krishna is present there in the form of transcendental sound. So, Punya Shravana Kirtana, it's very auspicious. Punya Shravana Kirtana, glorification. Shravanam Kirtana. Actually, Prahlad Maharaj also brings it in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagvatam. We are all familiar with this. Navavidha Bhakti, what we practice, which is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, like that. So there also you see, it begins with Shravanam. So hearing is very important. See, we are all born in ignorance. That's why we offer this prayer. Om Ajnana Timirandasya. We are born in ignorance. That's why we go to school. We take up middle school. We go to college. We do master. Because we are all born ignorant. That's why we go to college. We get learn knowledge from the institution. So like that. So, Punya Shravana Kirtana. Hridayantastaha I abhadrani. Badra means auspicious. Abhadrani means all inauspicious things are there, accumulated over millions of life. Because we understand from the scriptures, and there are 8.4 million different species of life, and we have been going up and down, trying so many things. And that's why it is said, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavanji Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. See, morning in the Bhagavatam class, Prabhupada time also used to say, so nice, sublime thing we are trying to understand. How many people are attending? Because people are not interested, particularly in Kali Yuga. But Prabhupada instituted this. This is the only cure for the disease. The disease, we have this Bhavaroga, that is repeated birth and death. So to get away from this, we have to just chant and we have to hear offenselessly, Prabhupada mentioned. So, Hrithi Antastai Abhadrani, all the inauspicious thing will go away. And Vidunoti Susatam. Vidunoti, Prabhupada translates, cleanses, Sud, benefactor, and Satam, of the truthful. So, Krishna's position is like that. He is Satam. So, Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam Sarvalokamayeshwar. Sridham, sir, he is the best well-wishing friend for all of us actually. That's why he is seated in our heart. In all these 8.4 million, 84 species of life, 84 lakh species of life, Krishna is also accompanying us. We understand that we are all spiritual. We have taken this material body, just like we have taken different garment. All of us have taken different garment. So along with the soul, super soul, Krishna, Paramatma is also residing. And is again and again waiting when we are going to turn towards him. Because Prabhupada gave an example, just like a rich father's son. Sometimes, due to some misunderstanding, father and son, there is always some little fight, little misunderstanding, correct? So sometimes he walks away from the home. You are not my father. I don't care for you. Actually, when he goes out of his home, he is loitering in the street. He will not have proper food, clothing, shelter. So why? Because he has turned away from father. So if some of his friend comes, hey, why you are struggling, man? I know where your father is. Why don't you come and join? All your economic problem will be solved. So similarly, that is actually our position. We are all children of God. Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Aham Bija Pradapita. We are all sons of God. And who is God? Who is Krishna? He is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is the richest person. The definition is also given in the Upanishad. Shad Aishwarya Purna Bhagavan. Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Veerasya Yasasya Shriya Jnana Vairagyo Chaiva Shannagana Itingana. It's actually Parasara Muni has defined who is God, who is Bhagavan. Generally, people are carried away by today's word Bhagavan, correct? Everybody adds their own name and they prefix by Bhagavan. No, who is Bhagavan? That's what the whole Bhagavatam slowly it develops. What is this position? So, Aishwarya, so he is the most richest person. Everything is coming from him. All these your Elon Musk, in India take Tata, Birla, Ambani, they are nothing but a speck of him, his creation. So he is the richest person. Prabhupada gives, actually Prabhupada, I always keep telling, when we read Prabhupada books, when we hear Prabhupada lectures, conversation, Prabhupada examples, analogies are so wonderful actually. We may not be able to grasp the philosophy. His examples are so adequate, it drives away that point. So, why people are so attracted to come to America? Prabhupada is speaking 60 years before when he was giving lectures in big university in the Western world. You don't find a lot of people going to Kenya or underdeveloped country or developing country like that, correct? People want to come to America because it was so advanced. Even 60 years before Prabhupada is quoting this. You see the embassy, always crowded. I know a lot of people when I was interacting now also. Because our president brings a lot of new laws, it seems here. And everybody is waiting when their visa will be stamped, whether to go, not go. If you go, you can't come back, something and all like that. Why? Because people are attracted because it is rich, really rich. So, richness attracts or captivates people. Similarly, like richness, or somebody is like a very famous person. So it's all Krishna is all. He has got it. Aishwarya Samagrasya. Unlimited quantity actually. Richness. If you see that nobody is more richer than you. That's why one of the name of Krishna is Asama Urdhva. Asama Urdhva. That is, nobody is equal to him or nobody is greater than him. Everybody is lower than him. So, Aishwarya says, Veerashya. Yes, is so famous. We are reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita was spoken millions of years before to sun god Vivaswan. Today also we are reading this. And it is making a lot of sense. So, this Vedic literature, and it is coming from Krishna. These are all eternal. It is Sanatana. It is never outdated. It is ever fresh. Like that actually Prabhupada has presented. So, so we are trying to serve a person like the Supreme Personality of God. That's why Prabhupada begins this, that there is no difference between Lord and his Lord's name. That sound. That's why so much stress is given on chanting and hearing. Right? When we chant, we hear also. That's why when we do japa, we should chant in such a way, at least we can hear what we are chanting. But already you are engaged in 2 processes of devotional service. Out of the 9, you are already engaged in 2 service. So, but it should be heard by the Prabhupada. That's why the translation also he says, his messages, which are in themselves virtuous, when properly heard and chanted. When properly means it is coming in the parampara. Guru, Sishya, Parampara. When you get this knowledge in the Parampara understanding, then actually the real cleansing happens. Otherwise, you see so many nice orator will be there, nice speakers are there, particularly in India, you know, Bhagavad Sapta in Vrindavan, so many Bhagavad Sapta, so many persons, they will be nicely telling Krishna's stories, all these things. Very good. But actually when you hear this, when you read this, there should be some transformation happening actually. Then it's working. Otherwise, for 7 days you hear Bhagavatam. Prabhupada also explained about this professional reciter of Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is such a wonderful, 18,000 verses are there. Can anybody understand in a week, in a 7 days time? That is not at all possible. Because they are all trying to copy, because Parikshit Maharaj, we all know the setting. Parikshit Maharaj was cursed to die within 7 days. So Sukadeva Goswami spoke to him continuously 7 days. And Parikshit Maharaj was hearing without, he was not fatigued, he was not taking even water, no food, nothing. He was just absorbed. Because when Sukadeva Goswami is speaking, there is some doubt arising. Immediately he is asking question again. So basically it's question and answer. Whereas when you hear from the parampara understanding, then we come to the right conclusion actually. See, for example, Prabhupada always explained that we are all in the body, something known as bodily concept. We are concerned more with our body, with our extended family members. It's natural actually. But actually Bhagavad Gita, when it talks about the soul in the 2nd chapter about Atma, spirit. So we are spiritual in nature. Like I mentioned, we are just taken different garment. Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya. Just like we are wearing this garment, when the garment is old and thrown out, what we do? We throw it away, we change on to new garment. So we are the same person. So similarly, the spirit soul, Atma is same. And to understand this, actually, there is something known as we have to give up this designation. One of the definition given by Narada Muni about bhakti is Sarva Upadhi Vinirmuktam Tat Paratvena Nirmalam. This Upadhi, this designation, I am man, I am woman, I am Indian, I am American, I am a Brahmana, I am a Kshatriya. These are all actually technically called designation. Because these are all external covering. We are all spirit soul. Everybody is spirit soul. And we are spirit soul, and we are all part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is completely spiritual, so we are also spiritual. But we have this incompatibility because there is a body and there is a soul. But in case of Krishna, it is completely spiritual. So like that, we should understand. So this is possible when we are in constant touch with the Supreme Lord. That's why Prabhupada in the purport, he mentioned, then the second sentence he mentioned is, it is to be understood that Lord Krishna is present in the form of a transcendental sound, which is as powerful as Lord personally. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, then Prabhupada quote that also, he writes in the purport, Namna Makari Bauda Nija Sharva Shakti. Namna Makari Bauda. The potencies of all mantras is there, present in the Lord's holy name. Namna Makari Bauda Nija Sharva Shakti Tatra Pita Nimita Smaranena Kala. There is no hard and fast rule. Any time, any place, any circumstances we can chant. See, all these things are mentioned in this today's purport also. Because today we are all caught up in our busy world, particularly when we come to this part of the world. Monday to Friday, there's no chance of meeting anybody, correct? Everybody is busy in their own world. India also, it has become, it's actually we are all very good in copying actually. We don't take the good things from the Western world, whereas we have taken all these things. People, that's why they work night, day, continuously keep on working. Actually, human form of life is not meant for working like working hard, like cats and dogs actually. So these are also heavy statement. Bhagavatam says, Rishabhadev is giving his instruction to his 100 sons, Naham deo dheya bhajan loke kashtan kaman haritam vidbhujame. Even the hawks and dogs, they are continuously working day and night. Human form of life is not meant for that only. Of course, so we don't propagate, we should not work. Everybody should work. Just Krishna also says to Arjuna, to keep the body and soul, to maintain the body and soul together, you have to work. You are a Kshatriya. Why you are Why you are refusing to fight? So Krishna is giving all this argument. But tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam shuddhe desmat brahma saukyam tamananta. But in the human form of life, we should take little tapasya. Tapasya means voluntarily accepting some inconvenience. For our own good, you do tapasya, but not for others in spiritual life. Whereas outsider, the karmis, Prabhupada used the word karmis, the materialist, they work hard for, okay, they also get benefit, but mostly they are working for their family, extended family, and so many things, sometimes for the society, for the country, all these things. That sort of working will not help us actually spiritually, because basically we are all spirit soul. That's why Prahlad Maharaj also says, though the material life is very temporary, we all know, one day we will die and go. Temporary. Kaumaram acharet pragno dharmam bhagavatam yasi. Everywhere it is same thing is repeated. So Bhagavad Dharma we should take. When many people have this wrong notion, even in India, maybe why sometimes when ISKCON devotees, you see a lot of youngsters come, particularly a lot of youngsters they join in ISKCON movement. And they say, why you graduated so much, earning so much, you have given up and this thing. Maybe you can take spiritual life when you retire from your work or your business. But Prahlad Maharaj, he was a 5-year-old boy. He is teaching all his classmates. He is saying, no. Kaumaram acharet pragno dharmam bhagavat. Right from the young age of 5. Kaumara age is 6 to 10. So right from the young age, we should cultivate this spiritual consciousness or God consciousness. Because when we become old, it's very difficult. Already you are programmed in such a way. And this is based on Prahlad's instructions. Prabhupada used to give this analogy also. If you want to teach an old dog with a new trick, it cannot accept it easily. Or you want, if I want to learn swimming, when I become old, you try to get into water, immediately you will sink actually. And that's why here you see in the Western, they all push 2-year kid, 3-year kid, they'll push, of course, with the guide and all, and with the support. So because they will flap, they will struggle. That's why you learn swimming, we all know that. So we can't wait till we become old to take a spiritual life. Because Parikshit Maharaj, Prabhupada explained this also, he was cursed to die within 7 days. At least he had 7 days notice of death. Generally, nobody gets notice, correct? Even if you are in ICU or IICU, whatever it is. Doctor may just say you will go on. But many times they will say you will die within maybe a month or so. Some people will live for years together after that also. 5 years, 10 years, we come across this. So we don't know how long we are, 7 days or 7 hours or 7 minutes or 7 seconds, like that Prabhupada says. So we should be so serious and anxious in practicing spiritual life. Because this fast world, correct? Anything can happen, next moment it can happen. Daily we hear so many news. So we should prepare for this. And when we come in touch with Krishna, by chanting, hearing what happened, because we are touching Krishna directly. Prabhupada has given many words like this, many sentences he has used, and he's quoting from, because Krishna and Krishna's name are not different. Krishna is all absolute, the Supreme Personality of God. So that is the definition of all absoluteness. We are all temporary, but Krishna is all absolute. So when you chant, when you hear, actually we are touching Krishna. Knowingly or unknowingly we are touching. Prabhupada gave an example like a small child. Sometimes we have experienced this when we are in school days and during Deepavali, all these crackers and all burst, correct? So when you see the flower pot and all, color, very attractive, fascinating, correct? Sometimes child will not know, they will try to go and put their finger, they will burn their finger. So ignorance is no excuse in law. So fire will not see, oh, it's a child is doing out of it. No. So similarly, the symptoms can be seen. So when we chant Krishna's name, we actually come in contact with Krishna, direct touch with Krishna. And by touching Krishna, Krishna is Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, is completely pure. Arjuna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita. So if you come in touch with Krishna, what happens? We also get purified. And human form of life is meant only for purification. The same verse is there. Brahma Saukyam Tam Anantam. So we are all full of contamination now, because this is coming from our past life, previous lives. And this is a very good opportunity for us. Somehow we are come in touch with a bona fide spiritual master like Prabhupada. Because many people are spiritually, Prabhupada also says, through the veins of Indian, the spirituality is going on. But many times we are not, we get trapped in some so-called spiritual gurus or something like that. We are all very fortunate. That's why Krishna also says, Bhaunam Janmanam Ante Jnanamam Aprapadate. Not that easily not that it by chance we have come to Krishna. No, maybe we would have done all this circus, many lives, we would have tried so many things. Bhaunam Janmanam Ante. After many, many births and death, Jnanavam Aprapadate. Who will surrender unto me? A person who is in knowledge. So when we speak of bhakti yoga, devotional service, it's not just sentimentally we are doing, no. Why? Vasudevam sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. So Vasudeva, Krishna, is the cause of all causes. And samahatma sudurlabha. So such a person is a very rare. Like this, we should understand there are many verses actually in the, it is said in the Upanishad also, Nama Chintamani Krishnastu Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. This Nama Chintamani, Chintamani is touchstone, Krishnastu Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. Chaitanya, it's full of conscious. And what is that? Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukta Abhinnatvam Namam. It is completely pure, Purna Shuddha. Nitya Mukta, it is liberating. And Abhinnatvam Nama Namino. That is, there is no difference between Krishna's name, form, pastime, paraphernalia, anything connected with Krishna, there is no difference. That is the meaning of the absolute. So, it's a very nice opportunity for all of us. We are come in touch with this great movement. So, we should go extra mile, take little tapasya, particularly a center like this. You see, 2017 or 18, this deities were installed. And in short span, a lot of things are happening, correct? So people are eagerly waiting. So first, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, we should try to perfect our life. Then we should go and tell this to others. So one very important thing happens in our spiritual development, in our advancement is, actually we should pass on this message to others. So if you see Prabhupada's life for this, Prabhupada was very well situated, very comfortable. He was a sannyasi, he was in Mathura, Vrindavan, he was in Radha Damodar temple, he was writing books, everything perfect. But he always, because his guru had told him he should go and preach in the West. So Prabhupada was always thinking how to do. Within India, he tried so many things, we all know. Apparently, he was a failure. Like here, a lot of startup companies here, correct? They start, sometimes it doesn't click, it fails, it's gone. So Prabhupada, from the material point of view, it meant he was not successful. But Prabhupada was enjoying this. Because he knows, they're not bothered about the result. He was just preaching on behalf of Krishna, his spiritual master. So, secret in advancement in spiritual life, Prabhupada writes in the purport that we should take the instruction of our spiritual master as our life and soul. In the Bhagavad Gita 2.41, Prabhupada writes this, Vyavasayatmika buddhi eke akkuru nandana. In that purport is right. That is the secret. So Prabhupada says, there are many, Prabhupada, before he took sannyas, he was a family man, he was running a business, he had 4 children, all these things. And Prabhupada himself humbly says, I had many god brothers, they were all sannyas, this thing. But see, and Prabhupada took that word of his spiritual master seriously, because first at a meeting in 1922, he told the same thing. Prabhupada was arguing with his spiritual master. No, you are talking about going and preach the message of Bhagavad Gita. We are all slaves under Britisher. We should drive away Britisher. Then his spiritual master very nicely explained him. The who are ruling, we know in India, or here, Mughals are ruling us, then Britishers came. Where are they now actually? So then he was explaining from the Bhagavad Gita, real problems of life is Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. These are the real problems of life. Other problems and all will come and go. Actually, there are no problems. They are all symptoms of a problem. And in human form of life, only we can solve the repetition of birth and death. That's why Prabhupada, if you see in today's purport also, 3-4 times he using the word going back to Godhead like that. Because we have come from God, we are all in Vaikuntha Loka, we are all with Krishna. Somehow we wanted to enjoy independent of Krishna. That's why this verse also says. So we have that material, we have desire to enjoy materially. That's why Krishna has created this material world. He has put up all of us here. But Krishna, as a loving father, is anxiously waiting. Prabhupada write that also. Krishna is more, we are not that sincere. Krishna is eagerly waiting when we'll go back to him. Just like a rich father is always waiting, hey, son, why is suffering? Why don't you come back and join me? So like that. So it's a beautiful purport. And Prabhupada in this purport only writes, correct? The Lord is reciprocally respondent to his devotees. When he sees that the devotee is completely sincere in getting admittance to the transcendental service of the Lord and thus become eager to hear about him, the Lord acts from within the devotee in such a way that the devotee may easily go back to him. The Lord is more anxious to take us back into his kingdom than we can desire. Most of us do not desire at all to go back to Godhead. Only a few men want to go back to Godhead. But anyone who desires to go back to Godhead, Krishna helps. So Krishna is willing to help. We want to go to different country, all these things. So Krishna is inviting, please come. The Bhagavad Gita says, this material world, wherever we are in, it is full of miseries and temporary. It is dukhalayam and ashashvatam. But if you come back to me, there is no repetition of birth, death, old age, disease, and all these threefold miseries. Shastra explains. Misery is created by your own mind and body. Misery is created by other material, created by natural disturbances, adhyatmic, adibhautik, adidaivik, all these kleshas, all these miseries, we can get away. Simple thing is, we have to become firm, and we should take a resolution that Prabhupada says we should finish off the business of Krishna consciousness in this life only. So we should not even take a chance, because in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, you get an opportunity, you'll be born in a Brahmana family, aristocrat family, all these things, we can continue. But Prabhupada says, why we don't know? We can get against trade. So it's a very nice opportunity. And this verse actually is the beginning. In fact, this verse is quoted in the 7th Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 1st verse also. The same 5 verses. So this is the process, how it develops. So when we start hearing, what happens? It cleanses our heart. Then next 3-4 verses in the Jaladuta prayer also Prabhupada write these 5 verses actually. This is the process of our Krishna consciousness development or advancement. So next verse it says, this is also famous, Nashta Prayesha Bhadreshu. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental song, is established as an irrevocable fact. Nashta Prayesha Bhadreshu. Nityam Bhagavata says. So it's a if you see Prabhupada, what he has given us, it's a we can say our Acharya, they are like spiritual scientists. They are given an easy process what we have to do from morning till night. In whatever situation you are, you can still continue this and you can see you will spiritually advance. So we should try to hear Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Today all these things are available in lectures. Srila Prabhupada has given thousands of lectures, morning walk, conversation is there. So, so we should hear. All the completely destroyed, it is mentioned. See, troublesome in the heart. This, what is the troublesome? Next verse is say. So beautifully, actually, Bhagavatam is taking up. As soon as irrevocable loving service. So this Prabhupada translated this bhajante, bhakti, wherever the bhaj root is from bhaj. So bhakti means Prabhupada said devotional service. Not only bhakti, devotion. Because devotion, you may say, I have devotion for so many things. Correct? People generally say, Hamara dil mein bhakti hai, man mein bhakti hai, all these things. So if you have that bhakti in you, it should actually come out. A symptom of a rich man is easily seen, correct? A symptom of a diseased man is also seen. So similarly, if somebody says bhakti, is a bhakta, these things should come about. What is that? Next verse says, as soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's mode of passion and ignorance, tada rajas tamo bhava, tada rajas tamo bhava, the rajaguna and tamaguna, mode of passion and mode of ignorance actually is troubling us. So this verse says, as soon as irrevocable living service is established in the heart, the effect of nature's mode of passion and ignorance, what is that? Lust and desire, and hankering disappear from the heart. See, lust, material world is full of this thing. You hanker for things which you don't have. And somehow, according to karma, if you have something, if you lose, you are lamenting. The material world is nothing but that Prabhupada explained in many places. The Bhagavad Gita is the direct verse. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na soshyati na kankshati. He never laments, he never. So, very clearly how it is correlated, you see. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy. So, we have to get away from envy, lust, desire, hankering, kama, krodha, all these things are also included in that. Then we'll be happy. See, we are all pleasure seeker. We are all looking for happiness. But we are trying happiness in the wrong place. Just like Prabhupada gave an example of an animal in the forest. Hot sun, peak sun, summer. They'll be thirsty. They want water. They are running here and there. So, because of the reflection of the sun, there's a mirage. So they run, oh, there is water. They go there, there's no water, they die because of thirst. So there is some flickering happiness in this world, but the real happiness we understand, we get it in the spiritual world. Anandamayod abhyasa, because we are all seeking that. So now also in this world, if we are practicing devotional service under the guidance of a spiritual master, we can see that. It's not that we have to wait. It's not like a post-dated check. Then next verse. Thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness. See, one after thing, when you start hearing, what happens? This dirty thing goes away. Then you are cleared of Rajoguna, Tamoguna. You come to Sattva-guna. What is the Sattva-guna? Thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness. A man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of God in the stage of liberation from the mental association. That's why Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam. So this devotional service is not a mental, it's not a speculative knowledge, it's actually a realized knowledge. And we are not in that condition now. Just by reading and hearing from the realized soul, we get the same benefit. Then the last verse in this chain of 5, it's like a process. Our bhakti advances as we take to this process. Thus the knot in the heart is pierced and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive action is terminated when one sees the self as master. So like this beautiful chapter and a very nice opportunity for all of us. We have come in touch and we start with little faith, read, it's not a blind faith, take to the process, actually things automatically fall in place. Definitely, I'm sure many of us, when before we came in touch with Krishna consciousness, we were also running for so many things. Now also we are running, if you see like that. But we are running towards the ultimate thing, that we are trying to get Krishna Bhakti actually, by following the rules and regulation. Right now in our stage it's called a Vaidhi Bhakti, a regulated practice of devotional service. That's why we are recommended to get up early in the morning, do some Mangalarti, chant some round here. Prabhupada has given this process. So if somebody takes to this, definitely we can see for ourselves, we'll benefit, and whole human form of life is meant for this actually. This should be our ultimate goal. Okay, you may have immediate goal, take care of family, children, education, all the, everything is fine. But we should know what is our ultimate goal. Ultimate goal is to get away from this repeated birth, death, old age and disease, and go back to home, back to God, like Prabhupada says in this purport. So these are the few things I would like to stop here. Anybody has any question, any comment, anything? Guru and teacher. Yeah, Guru, actually if you see, materially if you see also, teacher is also one kind of Guru, we can say. Even if you want to learn some instrument, violin or singing, everywhere teacher is there. Teacher and student is there. So, Guru Purnima, yeah, they celebrate, just now this Purnima happened. So it's actually, Vyasadeva is the original Guru, is a spiritual master for all of us like that. He is also the literary incarnation of Krishna, it is mentioned. So we know Krishna instructed to Brahma, Brahma to Narada, Narada to Vyasa. So Vyasa only documented all this, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, all the way to... in fact, before Bhagavatam, he had compiled Mahabharat, all the Vedic literature, Purana. After doing all these things also, Vyasadeva was feeling little vacuum. He was not completely satisfied. That was the time he approached his spiritual master, Narada Muni. Narada Muni, he said, see, I have done so much work actually, but still I feel there is some incompleteness. Can you please figure out what is this and give me a solution? Then he told, particularly in Kali Yuga, what happened? People will follow all this karma kanda, rules, regulation, all these things. So again, enjoy in this world. In the Vedas also, karma kanda portion is, you do dharma, artha, kama, moksha. It's a gradual process. Though people will be caught up in this, particularly in Kali Yuga. That's why Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is a direct process. So Narada Muni suggested to Vyasadeva, You write one literature exclusively glorifying Krishna. So that is actually Srimad Bhagavatam. So when he wrote that, so it's the ripened fruit of all the Vedas. It's mentioned, there's a verse also. So yeah, so many Vedas. Ultimately, what is the essence of all the Vedas if you see? Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasya chaham ridhi sannavishto mata smiti jnanam apovanam cha vejes sarve ame vedyaha vedanta krit vedavid evacha. From all the Vedas, I am to be known, Krishna is telling. So there are many people, in India, Divedi, Trivedi, Chaturvedi, they read all 4 Vedas, master all these things. But sometimes they miss out this goal which Krishna himself says. So, Guru Purnima, it's a good sentiment. People worship their Guru, all these things. In fact, Bhagavatam also explains, and they are the natural teacher. Who? Guru. Husband should be a teacher for his wife and family members. King should be a teacher. So that Bhagavatam, that verse says, don't become a teacher, don't become a guru, don't become a king. Like that it lists out. Unless you are able to deliver your subject. The very important thing is, apart from giving material education is fine, the real importance is actually spiritual education. That is, particularly in the human form of life, very important. So I'll stop here. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir ki. सोचा लेके जाएगा इंडिया